Welcome back to Wealth Be Hers podcast. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but this name has changed a couple times. Well, Money with Mission, Wealth Builders, Wealth Be Hers. And those of you who are in the know, or in the community, know that we had some trademark issues. So we had to change to Wealth Be Hers, which now I actually really love. So here we are. Today we have actually repeat guests. And I went back, you guys were in November 2023. I can't believe it was that long ago. Sanja and Asa Patterson from Premier 72. And we were having a conversation the other day about retirement. And you guys know my definition of retirement is doing what you want, when you want, with whoever you want. It has nothing to do with the government age thing. Some of the things we'll talk about have to do with government age and that kind of stuff. But in general, we're talking about having money when you want it to do what you want to do with it. Welcome back. I know we've changed our name, but it's the same show. It's the same me, Sanja and Asa. Thanks.
Thanks for having us again. And I cannot believe it was November 2023. That seems like we were just talking yesterday.
Well, we were, but
We were.
I can't believe we've known each other. It seems like, we've known each other now for that amount of time. We knew each other a little bit before that, but we just have kept going and just time just has gone. I guess that's what happens. I guess what happens.
Time flies when you're
Time
having
just
fun.
keeps
That's all.
going. Exactly. And we've all been through some things. I know Asa's had some family stuff going on. Sanja, me, we all got life keeps happening. And we keep working hard to help other people as we're going through our things and we see the problems financially that we potentially could have or are having. And it's like, everybody should know about it. How come nobody tells people this? So that's how we got this conversation going again and wanted to just share it with everybody. So I know, let's start with Sanja. Let's just give a quick background on who you are and what you're doing, and then we'll get into our conversation.
Okay. My name again is Sanja Noble with Premier 72. I have been in the financial industry for about 30 years, been managing billions of dollars, and realized that we needed to bring it down to our community so that everybody will have actionable steps so that they can actually do the retirement and do what they want to do during their lifetime. Oftentimes, people are doing what they tell you to do, what the mainstream is telling you to do, and telling you that you have bad ideas. And so we're here to break those things down. I've been working with in Premier 72 for about 5 years now with Asa, and happy what I do.
You got a look too, Asa. Like, it's been 5 years.
Feels more like 50.
Oh my goodness. Did you just say?
Was that my outside voice?
Yes.
No, it's been an awesome time working with you, Sanja.
Tell us about you, Ace. I know you were in the Marines, and what else you got going on?
Yes, I'm a retired Marine Corps captain. I actually broke my neck on active duty. So they went in here. I have a plate with 4 screws, and that's been causing some issues and still does. And I read 2 books when I was on medical hold, getting ready to get out of the Marine Corps. The first one was Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Totally blew my mind, changed my paradigm, put me on another track of learning and growth, right? This is, 96. This is before the internet was really big. So I was still in the library looking in magazines and books.
You should put that other voice back on before the internet, because surely we're not that old.
It was a long time ago. We didn't have these things called. We had dumb phones, right? It was just a dumb phone that you just picked up, only could talk to somebody on the other end.
That's right.
And the other book that I read was it was an autobiography about a guy named Reginald Lewis. The title of that book was Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun? Okay. And again, that was a paradigm shifting book as well. Just totally blew my mind because in that book, he was in mergers and acquisitions. And they were talking about tens and hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars in the same way I was talking about $5 and $10. So it just really helped me understand that there's so much more and the people all around you, and it's just there for you to learn. So that put me on the track to just teach and learn more as much as I can. So I have, Facebook and YouTube and all that stuff where I'm just giving as many tips and tricks as I can that the wealthy use, that Sanja and I are using, that we're putting into reality with our clients so that they can really live how they want to live.
Yeah. It's interesting to me. We learn these things and you're like, how come everybody how come nobody told me? Why did,
Right.
when you realize it's because the people that we hang out with don't know. And then those are the people you love and trust and respect. Is like, okay, if I know this, then I got to tell everybody. And that's how I think all of us got to do what we do. Is like, I mean, I just need as many people to know as can know that you don't have to live paycheck to paycheck the way a lot of things look and a lot of people do. And that's what you grow up with. So that's what you think is right. But that's not what has to be. How did you guys meet and how did you form Premier 72?
Go ahead, Sanja. I'll let you take that away.
Tell the story.
Because you'll tell the truth.
I will tell the true story. Asa and I both went to the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana. I was friends with his roommate, but Asa was not my friend. Not my friend. We were just kind of in the same circle. Years later, during COVID, I was doing I had a credit repair business that I started that I was working and helping people. And Asa was my stalker and was looking at it and was like, oh, child, look at her going live and she needs some help. Oh my God, she really, really needs some help. He's just stalking me, right? Anyway, then I transitioned into selling insurance because as I was improving, I was helping people just live better. And so as I started doing that, I just kind of pinged him and asked him a question. And then as that continued to grow, I had the opportunity to get on the radio to kind of share my knowledge. And Asa was my, what is it, Cyrano de Bergerac or whatever that was, somebody in my ear to tell me, say this part, say that. And we just kind of grew from there and just realized that there was a synergy to kind of go on this mission to help people. And what I found was that people we have a likability between me and Asa when we're talking to clients. I'm able to see people where we lose them because sometimes Asa might talk a little bit high level and then I'm able to break it down into layman's terms. And it's just kind of, I think that some people gravitate towards him, some people gravitate towards me, and we just let nature take its course as opposed to one person not feeling Asa and then walking away without the knowledge. You understand what I mean?
I do, 100%. And I've noticed that with you. We met, what was the name of that conference we met at? Probably Prosperity Camp, and probably in 23, because I think we had the podcast shortly thereafter. And we had a conversation, and it was after that I noticed, Asa can start going, and then Sanja comes in and says, okay, come on here. This is what he says.
Right. I'm trying to help him speak English. We're working on it.
I did not know I was not speaking English, so that's just what's amazing. And I want to back up a little bit. Can I back up?
Absolutely.
To Sanja during COVID with her going live.
He just wants to go deeper. He wants to dig.
I just want to share the night and day, the growth that this lady has had. Hi, my name, look at the screen, Sanja. My name is Sanja, and if you have it was
whatever
painful. And I'm so grateful that she was open. And I bring that up, Sanja, to say that if you're not open to assistance, if you're not open to growth, if you're not open to help, you're going to stay stuck. And I was so excited because she was open. She was like, well, help me. And that's how the relationship continues to grow. What'd you say?
I said, help me. Instead of just stalking me and saying,
don't just talk about me. Tell me how to do it.
I was talking to her by myself. I don't talk a lot, about other people to other people, but it was some work. So let me tell you how the name Premier 72 came about. So as we started working together, we started having a lot of synergy. And I was like, well, hey, let's form a company together so that we can really, do some powerful things. So I gave her the opportunity to come up with the names. All right. And she came up with 3 names. And as I read them, I called her. I was like, hey, I'm to the point. I was like, no offense, but these all suck. What? Did you how did you come up with these? And as she explained them, I was like, oh my God, these are awesome, right? Premier 72. The rule of 72 is a very powerful mathematical formula for calculating the return on your money. They call it the the eighth wonder of the world. You take 72, you divide that by the interest rate your money is growing at. That tells you how many years it takes your money to double. Before that rule, I never thought about my money doubling. It's just in a savings account, right? We're just getting it to grow. I was younger then, but that's a really powerful tool just for people to have in their head, right? If I'm putting my money here and I'm getting a return, that divided by 72 tells me how many years my money will double. And
so if you have your money in a CD making 1%, then you divide 72 by 1. It's going to take 72 years for that money to double.
Exactly. Exactly. And on the backside, what the bank is doing, and we may get into that later in the session here, but the bank is getting 10, 12, 50. They're getting ridiculous amounts of return on the money that we're loaning them.
Okay, so everybody, just so you catch up, we don't want to leave you behind. When you put your money in the bank, in a CD, in a money market, I don't even know the names of all these things anymore. You are loaning your money to the bank. It becomes an asset, and it's a liability to them because they got to pay you interest, right? From your perspective.
Right.
And they're paying you 1%, some high interest rate. Okay. I use 1 because I can divide by 1 easily.
Right. That's good.
Then the bank takes your money. Let's say you put $100,000 in there and you're making 1%, and they take your $100,000 out and loan it out. How many times can they loan out your $100,000? 9 times?
9 times.
Yes.
It's really a little more, but let's just say 9 because there's no reserve requirement.
Okay. They can loan your $100,000 out 9 times at, how much interest rate is, and you get a loan, 6%, 7%, 8%, 9%,
hold on.
whatever.
How much is the interest on a credit card?
A credit card, 29, 30, whatever, you're going up there. That's what the bank's making, and then they got to take off 1% to give to you. I hope that made sense. So their percentage divided by 72 is much higher, much lower. They're doubling their money much faster than you're doubling yours.
Right.
That gets complicated sometimes. I know I don't like math. 72 divided by the percentage rate that you're getting tells you how long it's going to take to double your money.
Right. So if it was 72, the rule of 72, and then when you have a 30% interest, that's almost 2.5 years that they've taken to double their money, money that they're making off of you.
And they did it 9 times. But anyway, that's a whole other
thing. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So when I met you guys, we started talking about money because in those kind of circles, that's what we talk about. And that is one of the big things that I want, is to make money a much more common subject for people to talk about. Everybody shies away from it and doesn't want to, it's like some kind of secret. It's like going to the bathroom. Everybody does it. Everybody has money. Why not let's just talk about it. Let's get it out there. Anyway. So, and I already had this product. I had a life insurance product. Let's put it out there. That was I don't even know, be your own bank is the best way I can describe it, where I was making money on it. And we talked about some things, and we got into meetings and started having bigger conversations about it. I was like, oh, here's another way that I can use this and make money in a different way. And I remember you sending me the video about, I don't know, some coach in Illinois. Who was that? Wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it was
Michigan. Oh, yeah.
Jim Harbaugh.
Okay.
So there's so many creative ways of using these tools. You want me to tell that story?
Absolutely.
Okay. I just want to make sure. So Jim Harbaugh negotiated his pay, his salary differently than a typical individual would receive pay. Most coaches, they have a salary, let's say it's $1 million, and they get that $1 million income, right? They're W-2, and whatever state they're in, FICA, Social Security, state tax, and all that, they get their money after all that stuff is taken out.
I'm going to time out. I want to time out because I want people to listen to this as negotiating a salary, not just a coach. Everybody can negotiate a salary. So We're negotiating salaries here. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay. So he said, hey, I would like the salary at $1 million. This is not his numbers, but we're just going to say, but I want you to pay it differently. I don't want to receive it as income. I want you to pay my salary into my life insurance policy. I'm just pausing into my life insurance policy. So instead of him receiving after taxes, let's say it's $480,000, right? After taxes on $1 million, you're going to receive about half or much less than half. So he said, no, pay my life insurance policy. So they said, okay. So the whole $1 million went into the life insurance policy. Some of the money pays for the cost of insurance. The other portion of the money goes into what they call the cash value bucket. And he's able to borrow that money at any time for any reason. And it's a loan. When you borrow money, you don't pay taxes on it. You pay interest on it. So now he went from let's say a 40, 50% tax bracket, or being taxed at 50% on his money, to zero.
Zero tax.
Say again?
Zero tax.
Zero tax, full access to the entire $1 million. So he gave himself a 200% raise. Most people say 100% raise. Well, 100% raise would just put him at the $1 million, the $500,000, but he had a 200% raise. So now he has full access to all his money. There's no taxes. And if something were to happen where he became sick or disabled, there's something called living benefits, where the living benefits, based on the severity of his illness, they will release anywhere from 25% up to 75% of the death benefit today, so that he can have a better quality of life, bring in better home health care, better therapy, and continue with his life. Now, in order to put away $1 million into a life insurance policy, let's say you need a $10 million policy, because the bucket has to be big enough to hold the cash.
Hold on. I'm going to time you out.
I'm just going to leave it there.
I'm going to time out.
Okay.
Because I think people's minds are blown on what? Pay my salary into my life insurance?
Right.
What kind of life insurance is this?
Right.
And I think that's the question I had. What kind of life insurance are we talking about? Because I don't know. I was cheap and I got the term insurance, and there was that happening on that. You're going to pay it for all your life, and then it's going to end one day. And hopefully you ended before your insurance ended, so that your people could get paid.
Right.
What the heck are we talking about here? Because I think most people think about life insurance as something that's going to pay their people when they're gone. Take care of like final expenses, like they talk about on Gerber Life and all those commercials on TV. What are we talking about here?
So we're talking about a index universal life policy, right? A specially designed policy, because there are so many different ways these policies can be designed, and you have to talk to your advisor to explain to him or her exactly how you want to use this financial tool. It is just another tool that's in your tool chest. If you're a carpenter, you have a whole bunch of tools in there. If you're like me, I just have a hammer and a screwdriver, and everything is going to work from that.
Right.
Right. But so let's break it down a little bit so that people understand a little differently. I want to try to help.
I'm going to time you out again real quick.
Okay.
Don't lose your thought, because I have a hammer and a screwdriver too. And I have projects in my house that need bigger than a hammer and a screwdriver. And I have somebody to call for those. So that's where we're going with this. Like, you don't have to know all this stuff. You just need to know that, electric drills exist. I don't know how to use it. Electric hammers exist. I don't need to know how to use it. I just need to know somebody who does. So that's when I always talk about having a team. You need to know who knows, like you have an inkling of this thing exists, but who can help me make it work? Okay. I'm sorry, Asa.
No, that's no problem. Thank you for breaking it down. Just talking about the different iterations of insurance. And I want to relate it to ChatGPT. First, there was ChatGPT, then 2.0 and 2.5. Now we're at ChatGPT 5.0, right? So we're going through the iterations and the betterment of ChatGPT at a rapid rate. Same thing happened with insurance. There was something called term insurance.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first iteration. That started back during the Romans times when soldiers were going off to war, right? So it went from term insurance, and that was just strictly you pay a little bit of money. If you die, then they're going to take care of your family, right? And that's what term insurance is. If you live too long, you stop paying, you die, you don't get anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then there was whole life, and that covered your entire life, which was a little more expensive than term because term is for a specific period of time. Whole life covers your entire life to age 120 if you live that long. And then there was something called universal life, which had a little more flexibility, had a blend of whole life protection with the term cost. So you were able to get a longer period of time to have the coverage, but you had the same or a cheaper cost than whole life. It wasn't as cheap as term, but it wasn't expensive as whole life.
Okay.
Then the next iteration was universal. Well, that was universal life. Then you had variable universal life. Variable universal life was when they allowed you to have access to an investment component within your insurance. This was tied to the stock market. So when the stocks were going up, your cash values were increasing. And we went a period of time, the 80s, 90s, and 90s during the stock market bubble, where the S&P just rose and rose and rose. It may have had a little leveling off period, but it continued to increase. So that was the power of variable universal life. You have all the gains of the stock market, but no taxes. All right. So that's the power of the insurance. Then when the market crashed, those that have power say, hey, we need to come up with something else because that was great, but we don't want to lose our money. That's when they came out. And this is the last iteration that we're on right now. It's going to be exciting to see what happens next. Indexed universal life. So with the indexed universal life, you still have all the gains of the market. And as the market goes up, your cash value will increase. But if the market crashes, your floor is zero. So you never go into the negative on your cash value. So here's an example. Let's say, Sanja, you and I have a VUL, you have an IUL. All right. Variable universal life, index universal life. I have 100,000 cash value. You have 100,000 cash value. The market dips in 22, 23, 24. So my 100,000 will now go down to, let's say, 68,000. Am I happy? No.
No.
Right. Sanja's over that same period of time is at 100,000 because she has the index policy where she doesn't lose anything. So that's all the iterations of life insurance. And a lot of people are still stuck on the knowledge that they have when it comes to buy term and invest the difference. Because a lot of times the investing of the difference doesn't happen.
Right.
All they have is the term.
Right.
Then when you have the term, when you hit a certain age, I had a client a couple years ago, I think he was turning 60 or 58. And his term insurance was going from like $98 to $400 and some dollars because of that change in his age. So you just have to be aware of the different tools, what they're for and what's going on, and just plan for those things because a lot of times we don't.
No. And when you don't know that they change, you don't plan because you think everything's, and then you're trying to catch up on the other side. The other, you guys know how much I believe you need a team. You need more than just you looking at your money because there's people out there that know way more about money than you do. And you're the only one who cares about your money. So you have to continue to look. And so you and I had a conversation where you had a conversation with a guy in a line, you buying ice cream or something, which got you onto a different start. This is how we got to today. Tell everybody that story.
Right. Chicago, Illinois, Hyde Park Festival. And they have the whole thing out in the park and and parade and everything. I'm in line with my daughter, getting ready to get some ice cream. And I saw a gentleman, and for whatever reason, the older I get, I'm really getting good at reading someone and kind of knowing a little bit about them.
That's
so
right, because you know Sanja, she's teaching you that thing.
Yes. So I'm teaching her not to have a present. All right.
You know what?
I'm sorry. It's just good because you're not that way anymore. If you were still that way, I would not have anything to say.
Let's keep going.
So I said, excuse me, sir, are you in the medical profession? He said, yes. I was like, would you happen to be a surgeon? He was like, yes. I was like, are you in ER or high risk or high pressure surgery? Because I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. He's like, how did you know that? Well, I have 3 fraternity brothers that are surgeons, and it's just the same makeup. I mean, it was just like a clone of them, right?
Huh.
So I'm nosy as I don't know what. So I ask a lot of questions, and I ask questions until somebody says that's none of your business. And I say, okay, no problem. And then I'll ask a different question to try to get the same answer. And I said, hey, you work in the hospital? He said, yes. I was like, have you thought about what your retirement looks like? And he kind of looked off for a moment. He's like, what do you mean? I said, okay, well, as you move toward retirement, do you know what that's going to look like? Have you really dug into planning on that? So we were about the same age.
Okay.
And he said, no, I haven't. I was like, well, that's something you need to look at because you're in the hospital now. What plan does the hospital have? Is the hospital solvent? And do you have anything extra set up? And he was like, no, I don't. So I went and I was just having conversations. So I went and was ordering the ice cream with my daughter, and we get ice cream. And this guy's still standing there, right? And he's like, hey, do you mind exchanging information? Because I've never thought about that. And talking with you, you were saying, well, maybe he never thought about it in that fashion because most people do think about that, but it
Yeah.
really hit me. So as a result, I started doing more research. And they say that surgeons or doctors retire on about 50% of their highest base pay.
Mm.
That's scary. So if they're
Especially if
making
you're not ready for it.
300,000
Ready for
now,
it. Yeah.
right, and you're 78 and you're retiring, and it's going to be cut down to 100. But what most people say is that, oh, well, my expenses are going to be less. I'm going to be doing this and that. Well, you still have the bills on American Express Discover, right? They're not going to say, oh, you retired? Okay, we're going to cut that in half.
Exactly.
So it's really something. Go ahead, Sanja.
No, I just said exactly. It just, just because of that doesn't mean that your spending habits change once you get older. You're still doing that. If you have children, your children are still expecting to live at a certain level. They're still going to ask you for some money, expecting you to have it, right?
See, and everybody thinks of retirement as my kids are grown, my house is paid off, so now I'm in a lower income tax bracket. And all that may be true, but do you want to spend less money? I don't. I want to go now. Now I got time and freedom, and I want to go travel. I want to be in 5-star hotels. I want to fly first class. I want to get the cruise ship highest level. I don't want to spend less money. And I think we don't think about that. It's like, oh, I'll be in a lower income tax bracket, so I won't need to make as much money. So all that.
Right.
No.
You'll be staying in a hotel where they leave the light on for you.
Well, now you're really, really reaching. You're reaching.
But that is the truth. And what's so bad is that we know this is coming, but we as human beings don't plan and prepare for it. We use the strategy called hopium. That's a strategy that most people use, the hopium strategy.
Right. And the hope is I hope somebody else or whoever I'm giving my money to on the other side of this is paying attention, is going to know what I need so that this can happen. And hoping that is true is not the way to go, number one. Number two, so many of us physicians now are employed and we're getting paid by a hospital. Our benefits are paid by a hospital. Well, technically speaking, the hospital's taking care of that. They're maybe matching your 401k, maybe not, whatever. All that stuff is happening. And we think that we're set for retirement. And that's where I just want everybody to think about it a little bit and not just, to me, giving the money to the 401k people. I was going to call names, but the 401k people is like putting your money in an envelope, sticking it out the window, and somebody comes and picks it up, and you hope they take it and do something good with it.
Right.
Right. Most people aren't even looking at, even if you are participating in your plans, most people aren't even looking at it until it's too late. I'm 2 years away from retirement. Then I'm paying attention, but like, oh, I've been putting X amount of dollars. Surely I was going to have a bazillion dollars by the time I'm ready to retire. And that's not the case. You have to pay attention to your stuff on a regular basis. If at least you have to do it on an annual basis to make sure that things are going. We just looked at someone's 401k plan and a person told me, well, I'm making 16%, 17%. But what they were doing was adding each year. So it was like 3 years interest from 1 year. And I think it was from 2022 to now.
Yeah.
And they're like, they gave her a range and it says 16.9% that she earned. But that was over 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. And they gave them a cumulative on adding out all of the years up and saying that that's what they got. So someone's opening this up saying, I'm getting 17%, so I'm good. That's not the case. You got to dig
3% a year.
Right.
And 372 divided by 3.
Exactly. I love
That's a lot of years to double your money.
What is inflation?
And well, we know what they tell us it is. And then you know what it feels like it really is.
Exactly.
Well, the shadow stats, do you know? I think it's the 80s or not. I don't know what year, but they took out the cost of gas and the cost of groceries out of the inflationary numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the major ones that you need.
Mm-hmm. And then you talk about the shrinkage and just about groceries. Have you noticed how narrow the box of cereal is? It's like a half an inch wide. And it's like, what the heck? And it's $12.
Right. And back in the day, it was bigger than your whole body, right?
Yeah. Yep.
It was huge.
My thing on that one came with sugar when I realized that a 5-pound bag of sugar was now 4 pounds.
Yes.
And it's like, oh.
And it cost the amount of a 10-pound bag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And my 25-pound bag of dog food, or 35-pound, now it's 25. It's just like, okay, guys, you're charging me the same with less, but it's kind of the same. So, it doesn't feel so bad. But you guys, it's okay. So have you talked to this guy again? What did that make you do after you talked to this man, the surgeon who hadn't really thought about his retirement?
Yeah. So we're working on things with him. His schedule is ridiculous. I'm sure you can understand that. And what happens is you get so tired at work, you come home, you don't want to do anything. You don't want to think. You just want to totally just spaz out, right? So I created something called the Exit Fit Score. And it's a survey. I wanted to be able to have something just to give to somebody right away, whether they engage with me or not, just to make them think. One of the things I say on when I go live is that all I want you to do is to begin to think differently about money. So I created the Exit Fit Score. And what it does is just a quick survey that allows someone to answer a few questions to give you a score. The best score is 100. The worst score is 0. Most people are scoring in the 30s,
right?
Which is showing us that 70% of growth that they're missing out on when it comes to being able to retire. And I just want people to think. It's just now is the time to think about what am I going to be doing in 20 years, not 18 years from now. What am I going to be doing in 2 years?
Yeah.
Right.
And if you have go ahead, Sanja.
I was just going to say, it's just a conversation starter and just getting people to realize that it's not too late, but you have to start now. And once you realize that I'm just at 30% and there's so much growth, it gives you the opportunity to get the things out of your tool chest that you need in order to put people in place to get you where you want to be.
And the thing about it is to know that once you look at it, it's not the end of the world. There's, okay, how do I make this better? And I did the little quiz. It's not hard. It's not,
it didn't hurt.
It didn't hurt. It really didn't hurt. But I get it. When you don't want to look at it, I get it. For a long time, I didn't want to look at it. But once you look at it and you don't die, you don't blow up in a puff of smoke, And when it looks bad, you go talk to somebody and they don't laugh at you. Most people say yours isn't, I've seen much worse. We can get this better. So I know a lot of us don't want to look at it. That's one thing I want to say. The other thing I want to say is I know a lot of people work for companies who think I got a pension, I got all this stuff going on. It's all going to be here for me when I retire. And I know maybe many people don't remember Enron and all those people that worked at that company who thought they had everything set up, and that company went bust because of a lot of reasons. Don't count on I just want everybody to know they should have options. Okay, here's my option A. If this company is solvent and going well, I'm going to get this pension. I'm going to be good. And if it doesn't, I got this going. And it's never going to be bad to have options. It's like, it's still your money. You got it over here now. You don't have to count on this over here. Now I've got this. And I've got option C. I've got all these things lined up so that I don't have to count on any one of them.
Exactly.
Just huge.
And I also want people to realize that you have control of your money. And do not allow a company to take control of it and tell you that it's going to be there, because it might not be there. It really might not. I know I talked to a couple of people that worked in the at hospitals, and some of the hospitals are now getting out of matching the 401k plans.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you were counting on that, you need to come up with a different vehicle to double your money or get you to where you want to be. And so we have to take control. But if you just got that letter that's telling you that they're not matching anymore, you just throw it away, you're kind of out of luck. So you got to get a plan together. And pensions are no longer going to be there as well. Companies, as well as the states are having a hard time keeping those pensions going. And then now we also have less people working. So who is going to be putting money into the pensions for you to take your money out of the pension? So that's a whole another section on
blue states and red states. It's all the states are having problems keeping up with their pensions that they've promised to people that work for their governments.
Right.
I want to give your viewers, an action item. Google your state and pension. You're going to find that Illinois is one of the states. They have a massive unfunded liability. What does that mean? I don't know what that means, right? What unfunded liability?
Unfunded liability.
If the people that are scheduled to receive money, there is not enough money to pay the people that the pension is supposed to pay. Now, people, they may pass by this podcast and not even pay attention to that, but that's something that people should pay attention to. You're actually working for a state and you're paying into a pension. And as of today, that pension does not have enough money to pay the people that have paid into it.
And you may think, I don't work for the state, so how is this relevant to me? How do you think the state's going to make up that difference?
Right.
It's a 3-letter cuss word.
I think it's called taxes. And they're going to go up to help cover the difference. So
cover the difference.
It's
right. And what's so crazy is that, we're getting ready to come to the fiscal cliff again. Mm-hmm. Right. And what happens? Oh, we're just going to print some more. I wish we could run our personal business, because everybody is a business. And until you look at yourself as an independent corporation, you're going to continue to lose. But just imagine, Felecia, you can say, well, I'm running short this year. Let me go print up a couple.
My printer's right over here. I'm going to make it happen.
Right.
So, right. But this is what happens with the government. They're able to do that because they're making the rules. How can you put yourself in a position to make the rules for yourself so that you have a way of printing money for yourself?
This isn't new. This stuff's been going on for a long time. As Asa told you the story of Jim Harbaugh and how he had his company, the people he was working for, the University of Michigan, I guess, I think, I don't know, whoever was paying him, pay his life insurance. Pay his life insurance. Now, I don't know. So you bring it up to your company and they go, what? I don't understand. How am I going to do that? Like,
Right.
you got somebody on your side who can help you be able to explain to them, because I'm sure they're going to act like they never heard of it. I
So
think other companies do have this kind of insurance on their key players, right? Like, don't banks use this? And this
Yes.
isn't just like something you
This
just
is
bring it out. They're not pulling this out to try to scam people. This is not new.
Right.
It's used and used
it's
a
used on
lot.
a regular basis. So just imagine if you have a company, and let's just say 5 employees, and they all have life insurance on them, and the insurance you're able to maintain the policy, whether they stay or leave, and you keep the insurance on them. There are many companies that many executives have worked at and work for now that they still have life insurance policies on that individual's life.
Wow.
And it's legal because at the time there was an insurable interest, right? And just because you're no longer there doesn't mean they have to let it go. They can keep it going. And what happens now? So imagine you have 5 employees, you're paying them, and you have a system to recoup the salaries that you paid them
Right.
times a multiple.
Wow. Okay. My brain just did something.
Right.
Huh.
Most
Right.
people are then looking at it as a loss, but if you're investing in your employees, that you're trying to keep them, or even if they walk away, it gives you the opportunity to boost your business as well. A lot of times when people go away, they look at it as a loss. But if you have something where you're growing your cash in it, you can pull that money out to invest in something, the growth of your business.
So you can borrow the money. So I work for you and you have an insurance policy on me, and I say, I'm going to move on. It's time for me to go do something else.
Yeah.
You still have the policy and you've been paying it. Do I know you're paying it? Do I know that was happening? Do I
You
have to
knew
know
that
that was
was
happening?
happening at the beginning, at the initial stage when we put it in place, but I am the owner of that policy. So even if you walk away, I'm still the owner of it and I control that policy and all of the cash that's in it.
Okay. So now I left you in a lurch because, I gave you a day notice because I got mad about whatever. And
Right.
you have this policy now. What would, talk me through what happened next? So that you needed money. So now you could borrow on my life insurance policy to be able to do what you need to do to keep your business going.
Right.
Yep.
You have to pay it back.
It's a loan.
It's a loan.
Yes. So I'm taking out a policy loan and I do not have to pay it back.
That's right. So that's key, because I think people are talking about, but it's a loan. I have to pay it back.
No,
It's a loan.
you do not have to pay it back.
How does that work?
Right.
So the policy loan will be paid off at the death benefit.
Okay.
So once that key person, that even if they're no longer employed in my establishment, it gets, and they pass, that loan will be paid off with the death benefit that I do own, and I will be paid out of anyway.
Okay. All right. I don't know if you guys are you guys like blown away? I don't know. I'm just saying.
That's why I love talking about this stuff, because it blows me away,
Just
because it's just so cool. Let me shift a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you see here over my shoulder here, prepare your practice for a successful transition today, right? So that is the first page of the Exit Fit score, which allows the physician to go through 18 questions right there and just give you an idea. At the end, when you finish, you get a report that allows you to see what is really going on, and you can now take action on what is deficient. You can take action by yourself, or you can engage me because we created it with you or for you. And it allows you to really get a clear picture of what's going on. When you go to a restaurant, you don't just order, you look at the menu. People will spend more time looking at a menu than they do at their own finances. And this right here gives you a menu to look at so that you can determine what you need to improve upon or what you just don't want to work on. You have the choice to fix certain areas and leave certain areas alone.
Yeah. You go to a restaurant, not only do you look at the menu, but you ask somebody else what they think about this or that. And
right. But the system is designed to keep us from talking about money so that the continuation of what's going on. We're the only country with 3 socioeconomic classes, and that is diminishing. We're going to have just 2 classes, and that's because the wealthy have summits, they have conferences, they have masterminds, they have meetings on a regular basis to talk about how they can grow their money. The poor and the middle class don't.
And we're discouraged from doing so.
Right.
Are discouraged from doing so. And so the 3 of us, and there's a lot more people out there talking about money and wanting to help you understand money, but get to know somebody, talk to them,
Yes.
trust them, and do it before you need it.
Yes.
You want to know your doctor before you're having a heart attack because you want your doctor to know who the heck you are when you come in there saying, I got chest pain. You don't want to just like, they don't know who you are. So you want your financial person to know who you are before you're even if you're not ready to engage Asa and Sanja, even if you meet them and you don't like them, at least you had a conversation. Something's going to spark in you and you can take your stuff to wherever you want to take it and make a move. And that is what we want. Is we just want people to move and talk about money and understand their money. I know you care about it, but care about it like you care about your baby. You're going to tend to it and help it to grow and help it to learn all the things about the world. And hopefully your baby's going to go grow up and bring you grandchildren if that's what you want or whatever. But I definitely want my money bringing me grand dollars back, whatever. Just go grow.
Make a lot of friends.
And grow fast and come back.
Yeah.
And I'll send you back out again and grow some more. And that's what money's for. It's not a bank account kind of thing. It's supposed to be moving.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of people also are impatient. They think that, oh, I did it. It's supposed to happen tomorrow. So you have to give yourself time. You have to let money grow. You have to get it moving, as you said, so that it is allowed to grow. Sitting in your bank account is not going to allow to grow. Even if you look at it every single day, it's not going to. So you have to, money is living, breathing, and we have to give it some attention and education to allow it to move and grow for us. Yeah. So that's what this is about.
And the patience thing is the thing. It's like, can I do this once and move on and not have to think about it again? No, you can't. Asa talked about the iterations of insurance. Things change. And you want your person, even if you're not thinking about it every day, you want your person who's got your back, your financial back, to be able to know, okay, I need to call her and remind her that we have this meeting or that, I have meetings set up. It's like, we need to talk every quarter. So I know, otherwise I'm like everybody else. I don't want to think about it.
Right.
But I need to think about it. I have to know where things are. Like, how's it going? What's going on? What's changed?
Yeah.
I have a trust whole thing I got to get into that I just don't want to, but you have to. You have to. It's like, oh, it's set up and it's not all I have to do. No, we have to look at it here and there to make sure everything's still in line. Okay. All right. Here we go. You guys, this has been really good. I think everybody should take the Premier 72 exit quiz. Is that what you're calling it? What are you calling it? Preparing to exit?
Exit Fit Score. ExitFitScore.com.
And retirement, again, it doesn't mean you're whatever age the government says you have to be to retire. If you think you want to leave I want to be ready to leave. Let's say you're starting, and I think I can probably hang in here for 10 years, 15 years. Don't wait 5 years to start figuring out the money part. Start as soon as you're getting out of residency. Start when you're in residency.
Man.
And then you can always have options. If you get into a position where you're like, I can't stand this. I got to go. I don't know where I'm going to go, but I can't stand this anymore. Bye, y'all. You have ways to take care of yourself until you figure out your next step and not having to sit in something that's sucking the life out of you while you're figuring out your next step, because life getting sucked out of you and figuring out your next step, those things don't go together very well. And I'm talking from experience. So it's really important to have stuff ready. Okay. You tell them again how to get to it.
You just go online and type in exitfitscore.com and it will pop right up. Go ahead and complete the questions. Less than 6 minutes. If you're a Marine like me, it may take 7. because you got to look at the
If
words a
you're
little longer.
A student, like a lot of physicians and surgeons, and this A personality thing, it might take you longer just because you want to go, or you look at it like, I don't know what that is. Let me go look, or I don't feel like doing this because I don't feel like looking it up. Just put an answer and move forward,
Yes.
and you'll get a
We'll talk
score.
about it.
And if you get to the end, and you're like, I don't think this is really right, then click the button to have a call with Asa, have a call with Sanja. Neither one of them are high pressure salespeople. They want you to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Understand what this looks like. How can I be more tax efficient? How can I, and to me, tax efficiency is the name of the game. It's just make everything so that I pay as little taxes as possible. Not because you don't care about the country. I do it because I do care about the country and I want my money to go where I want my money to go. Not to some of the things that we're doing in our country that irritate the crap out of me. But we're not talking politics today. So the things you guys,
No politics today,
not
but yes.
not online. Okay. You guys, thank you so much. This has been fun. In almost 2 years, just so you guys know, we talk way more often than that. Because
Right.
after I met them, I actually got one of the policies that Sanja's helping me make it work. And it's working. That's all I can say. Just like she said, do this. It's like, I can do that. Yeah, you can
Yes.
do
Yeah.
that. I'm like, okay.
Mhm.
It's going. It's going. I like it a lot. All right,
Right.
you guys.
Thank
And you
you.
guys, and everybody listening, Wealth Be Hers is the name of the podcast now. We got some great stuff coming up. All of Sanja's and Asa's information is going to be in the show notes. So if you're doing something other than writing down what he talked about and how to get this exit score, it's in the show notes. You'll be able to click the link and go do it. And I'll see you next week. All right.